What's good, YouTube? It's your boy STTerrell, Real Life Real, back here with another banger, man. Hey, we back with it, man. I ain't gonna be too loud. Hey, it's night where I'm at. I'm not trying to wake up my neighbors. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we back here with another video. You feel me? You see this? So what you think that mean? What you think that mean? What you think? What you think that mean? You feel me? Very creative. If you a person seeing this video and you love being creative, you're in the right place, gang. Can't even lie to you, brother, sister. You know what I'm saying? You in the right place. So look, bro. This video is F freak being liked. Um, forgot the rest, but get comfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, chat. Forget being liked. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay? What does that mean, Chad? Stop caring what people think, right? Look, I'm gonna tell you how. Okay? Stop caring. Look, bro, or girl, or woman, whatever. Excuse me. This is the thing, bro. Y'all might have looked at the camera and you kind of seeing the face. You might be like, oh man, he looks like Drewski, DJ Mustard, Killer K, all these different people, bro. It's crazy. I ain't asked to get compared to none of them people, gang. I know how to do things, chick. It be crazy. But look, bro, I've gotten to a point where I'm chilling, and I don't really feel anything from it, chick. Even let me get back to it because I ain't gonna. This is my second time recording this video, man. I played this thing and it started making like some
Zip, zip,
audio
zip,
come in,
zip.
so I had to I had to mess around. But basically, Chad, I wanted to tell y'all, bro, this is how you stop caring about what people think, bro. You have to remember. And look, man, before I even say this, right, I'm talking to people who have been used, who have had labels been put on them, who, maybe don't feel like they have anyone right now. Very few people who they, can trust. And it is what it is, Chad. I'm gonna give you a little piece of game. You know, I want you guys to understand a lot of people, or a majority of people, are around you because of the purpose you serve in their life. That does not mean it has to be something physical, right? It does not have to be physical. It could be something mental inside of you, who you are, right? And I also need you guys to understand social media. If you aren't a big content creator and you're not really learning about like audiences and stuff like that, it can be kind of hard to understand these labels and stuff that are put on you. It can feel very unfair. But chat, I have to be honest with you guys, there are a lot of machines behind these different algorithms, not just, the algorithm itself, but people, you know, moving things in such a way for, certain narratives to be pushed. You know, I'll be honest, Chad. Most people, they say I look like Drewski or whatever. You see Drewski, he flopping around. You know what I'm saying? Like he a funny dude. He a funny dude. But a lot of that, humor comes in him embarrassing himself. You know what I mean? And like that's cool. You feel me? Like and ain't no wrong being funny. Like ain't no wrong being human. You know what I'm saying? Like but at the same time, I've had a lot of disrespect in my life before, like any views or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, or any comparison or whatever. So it's like I know when I get to that point with the social media stuff, Chad, I know I want my name to be tethered to work, respect, a person that learned the game, been doing this for 7 years, learning it really inside and out. I done switched gears a couple times, but obviously you see this, we on the music. You know what I'm saying? But music, but still content. I've been on the content, but now we adding the music to it. You know, um, but yeah, man. If any artists are seeing this too, hit me up. Hey, I make Chicago drill, pain, boom bop, hip hop. Hit me up. You feel me? Just a little quick, shameless plug. Shameless plug. But I want to tell you that, bro. Like, in order for you to really stop caring about what people think, you have to understand who you are. And one big thing that's been huge for me is music. Um, very, very big, man. You know, I'll even be on TikTok a lot. I'll be on there all the time. We're working on another song boards right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'll make a lot of beats playing, melodies on here and stuff. And sometimes we'll have like some real conversations in there, bro. And that's pretty normal. But like sometimes I'll tell, like sometimes people, bro, I've had multiple people come in there. If we're staying on topic of being yourself, right? I've had multiple people come in there, and they're like, you know what, I like making music, but people are roasting me, or like, I'm having like this kind of backlash or whatever, man. And that's normal, especially when you're being yourself, man. I know when I first started rapping, you might not do music, right? You might not sing, rap, whatever, you know, but just apply this to what you're doing, right? The mindset. But when I first started rapping, I sent my music to a lot of people who was like doing a, thing or whatever, in my city, bro. And I'm gonna be real, like almost everyone was like, it's trash. No one said it was like necessarily good. Like they were like, it has potential, but it wasn't something that just, just like was like, man, like woo woo, woo. Like I learned more about it, and now my craft is so much better, but I would have never even got like through that process unless I learned you know, one, love myself, and two, remember why I started doing this to begin with, right? Some of y'all might be like, man, I don't even make music. Like, what is he talking about right now? This doesn't apply to me. It does. Whatever you enjoy doing, right? Let that be your de-stressor. I know some of us, whatever, right? Hey, I know some, hey, look, keep it in the butt, man. But with that being said, bro, it's like, bro, we gotta get away a lot more from stuff like that and let this place it. This is one guy named Kevin Gates, man. Some of y'all love saying I look like him too, man. Bro, bro, live. They was like, bro, you look like a mix of Drewski and Kevin Gates. So let me know what y'all think. What y'all think? But with that being said, bro, you know, I feel like there's you got like I said, something Kevin Gates said, I replace my bad habits with good habits. I am not like 100% in that mindset yet, Chet. I'm still working myself. You know what I mean? But I can tell you, Chet, like I said, I've been doing this almost a decade, like social media. If y'all went on my Instagram, bro, I got like what, 21,000, 21K. And Chet, that's like after like the big like break or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I had got bro, I ain't even gonna lie. When I first made that page, when I was a sophomore, I had a homie, man. Shout out to E Man, bro. Hey, all love, bro. All love. Shout out to E Man. I remember we started with each other and eventually, took over. But when I started that page, it was when the waves were going on. You know what I mean? And it was huge, bro. And I already had it. I had homies around me that had the way. They was singing what was going on, and it worked, bro. Like I had people around me that enjoyed it too, and we just was making it just was flowing, bro. And we were younger, so it was able to be a lot more just fun. You know what I mean? Something that a lot of people don't talk about is that when you get older, you want to be, if you want to be a content creator, as you get older, that becomes a lot harder. You know what I mean? You have to pay the bills. You know what I mean? That's hey, you have to pay the bills. You know. Also, you gotta keep in mind if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not being calculated, you're almost like throwing rocks in the air. You know what I'm saying? Or like however that saying goes. You know what I mean? But that's how it is. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you throwing rocks. You feel me? If you don't understand your analytics and what people are coming to you for. You know what I mean? So, hey, bro, like I said, remember who you are. Remember, like I said, if some of y'all don't have music, I want you, even if y'all don't have music, something should give you the feeling music gives me. You know what I mean? I'll be honest, Chad. I have different vices I'm still battling with. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when I play music, I get in that mode, especially on TikTok Live, it is different. You know what I mean? is definitely different. That's why I love making like a lot of my beats and stuff on TikTok live because it's way more of an experience. I enjoy it more. I've had plenty of beats I made on there. People just like giving opinions or like, try this, try this. And sometimes I won't, sometimes I will. But most of the time when I do, it sound like it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll sound different. And I'm already like an experimental artist, so I like kind of testing limits and like putting things in place that wouldn't usually be on beats and stuff like that, or just giving things a different purpose, in the mix or whatever. But I won't get too into it. But like I said, Chef, bottom line, if you want to stop caring about what people think, you have to care about yourself. You know, Even going to the Bible, man. Let's get into it. The Bible says, um, forgot how it's worded, but basically, trust no man. It even tells you, trust no man. I remember something my mama told me a while ago when I was younger. Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. That verse is insanely true, chat. I had forgot about that verse, but just a lot of my life experiences brought that verse back to my, the forefront of my brain. You know what I mean? It's because like life kept showing me those signs, kept getting those reactions. You know what I'm saying? Or interactions with people. You know what I mean? And Chad, that's another reason why I make music. You know what I mean? Like if some of y'all kind of feel like you're your own person, and that kind of evokes a certain reaction at times. You know what I mean? Music might be something cool if you don't have something you do. Hop on a line. We got a Discord. We got producers in there. We got content creators. Um, we might have an engineer. We definitely know people that are. We definitely have people in there knowledgeable on the mix, like no question. But or engineering, so to speak. But like I said, I like if you're dealing with this, that's my type of community, man. You don't even have to do music, you know. You can just talk or whatever. But that's another thing, bro. I just kind of wanted to give y'all that outlet real quick. You know what I mean? And if y'all want to, just send me, leave a comment or send me a DM on Instagram or, TikTok, real life, real, excuse me, real life, real MSC. And I got y'all, bro. This life stuff is crazy, bro. But you have to hold yourself up. You have to hold the people around you. You have to get,
Welcome,
well,
Lucas Fernandez.
yo, Lucas Fern. Yo, what's going on, Lucas? What's going on, family? Bro, let me open Twitch real quick, man. I haven't even opened Twitch. I just been straight talking. I lucky forgot I was on stream. Hold on. Let me give me like 2 seconds. I'm gonna get back. Channel. We up on it, pay. We up on it, pay. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I'm not. All right, big. So, well, snap. We got a bot in here, but yeah, chill. Like I was saying. You have to love yourself and love what you do. You have to find real purpose. Honestly, Chad. Most of the time when I'm feeling a way with different situations and stuff like that, and a lot of the time it's the interaction, man, because I know when I approach people and when I try to do things with people, I'm genuine with my intent and my purpose. Nine times out of 10, what I'm hitting you up about, that's probably what it is, right? A lot of people, like I said, they have intentions, but that won't be revealed to you until you're next to them and you're interacting. You know what I mean? And I'm giving stupid game right now. Stupid game, bro. A lot of people, they like to say, "Oh, he think he know everything and stuff like that, bro." I live in truth. I believe in God. I read the Bible and I connect people's actions to the word. Simple. And a lot of stuff I read the Bible and then I'm like interacting with people and I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Like it's right in the Bible. like in the scripture literally will slap me in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like literally slap me
Nice to meet
in the
you.
face. Like
I'm
it's crazy.
Gene.
But I'm telling y'all, bro, if you feeling away, you have to remember most of these people want something from you. So if you want something from me, why am I going to trip about how this goes? You just want something anyway, and how am I being benefited? Most people that want something from you, they're not looking to return that. Like 9 times out of 10, they're not. You know. Anyway, that's not just like a girlfriend you'd have or like I know some women be tricking, you know, but you know, I'm not even say chicken, bro. Cause like if you mess with them, you mess with them. I've had some girlfriends or whatever that they mess with me, and they'll buy stuff for me. You know what I'm saying? I had some girls I'm messing with a little earlier on that they feel like, oh, if I ain't giving her something, she ain't trying to see me. She wanted a treat. You feel me? Like that's a message for my young men and women too who are experiencing like the opposite of that. But I'm mainly talking to men because I'm a man and that's my the experience I had as a man. Man, for the women seeing this, but you know, you gotta keep in mind, shit. If someone genuinely wants to be around you, they're going to take steps to do that. How do I know that? Because I do that. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. But I don't have all these intentions, Chet. Why is that? Because I'm self-sufficient. A lot of people have said I'm independent. I've had a lot of women tell me I'm independent, right? And I've never thought of myself like that, really, right? Like I never put that label on myself. To me, if I reach a problem and I can foresee a way to fix that, even if that takes time, I'm going to take those steps to fix that. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like how the rapping and stuff is, right? Because at first I'm rapping and I'm doing my thing or whatever, and you know, shout out to that boy Artem, bro. Rapped on a couple of his beats and stuff like that. But just the timing and stuff. If I was gonna be serious about being a rapper, just the timing and stuff, it was not going to align, man. So I had to learn how to do this, man. If I was gonna keep that passion for it and not let it fizzle out, And obviously everybody got their own lives and stuff too, Chad. That's why you also got to take initiative and do, you know. Bro, I had a conversation with Draco, bro. We was having like a 4 hour conversation, maybe a little longer in the Discord yesterday. Bro, I met him on TikTok Live, bro. And it was crazy. Like, even when I was on TikTok Live, I was on there like what 3, 4 hours. Like, and when I was on there, bro, like it's always a great experience, bro. I'm not going to lie, bro. But like I said, I hop on there and I'm doing me with the beat or whatever. And people they'll cover there, be like, man, this sound like this sound like this type situation or game, whatever. Like, whatever it reminds them of. Even that is like cool to me. And I had conversation with some people. They're like, man, I thought it was funny they said that. And the way my mind is, I didn't even take it like as disrespect. Like my mind didn't go there. I'm like, you know what? Because someone said it sounded like a Bowser. To the last bit, it sounded like you had Bowser's castle or something like that, fighting him or whatever. And like I said, even when he said that, right? Like I didn't necessarily like hear it like that, right? Like that definitely wasn't like the idea I had in mind. Like I said, I was just cooking up. You feel me? But I guess some people like, oh man, they roasting or whatever. I'm just like, bro. I mean, like that's sync licensing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's sync licensing. If my beat was in the game, was in that scenario, I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like even them saying that, like it didn't make me feel away. Like maybe they had that intent, but the way my mind is, I understand. Okay, if it's in that scenario or whatever, I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too, Chad. Like really making sure you understanding the things you do. And I feel like I hope I'm not talking to a wall right now, Chad. Like not a wall, but I understand like even in my normal life, I'll be talking to people and it'll get to a certain point where it's like, oh, like what's he on about or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I just want y'all to know, bro, sometimes I can, I might say a little more But it's not just like opinion or whatever, bro. Like everything I will ever tell you is experience or research I've done. You know what I mean? Because I don't live my life off opinions. I feel like a lot of people on social media they live their life off opinions. When in real life, you're not going to have time to live your life off opinions unless you have different people looking out for you. That'll allow you to stay in a frame of mind to where you're not going to be able to get things done. You know what I mean? I have not been like that. You know what I mean? I've had periods in my life like that, but extremely short lived, bro. Like I had no choice but to get out of that mindset because if I didn't, I would be broke and I would not be here, but I'd probably be in the street. Like, yeah. But I'm keeping it real with y'all, bro. And that's what I want to keep doing on live, bro. Straight up, I love this music stuff, bro. I'm trying to really put more music name on my city. And I ain't gonna lie, my city been, we've been creeping up in the in the news. We've been creeping up. We've been creeping up, you know. But yeah, I wanted to tell y'all that, bro. Like I said, it's all love, bro. If any of y'all feel like y'all need someone to talk to, hit me up. You feel me? Um, Straight up, bro. Especially if y'all do music too. If you're a producer, send me a DM message. Send me some work. Let's collab. If you're an artist, send me a DM. Send me some music. You know, let do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk. I'm still trying to network with more people. Check. Another thing about like dealing with people and the reaction. You know, surround yourself with people that are like minded, equally yoked. You know, when I used to read that scripture and stuff like equally yoked, it's like, okay, what does that mean, man? But it's like, bro, I feel like in a way we understand a little more people that are around the same mindset, you know. And a lot of times you can tell, Chad, like you might have a conversation with somebody, and just get to a certain point where it's like, like because people judge people all the time, like, and it's crazy, like, not saying you should judge anyone or whatever, right? But like obviously some people the conversation are gonna be different. Some are like way different than others. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. But if you surround yourself around people who value the same things as you, who enjoy similar things, if not the same things, um, I feel like, if you're struggling with that, that will help you as well. One thing for me, like I said, when I was talking with Draco in the Discord, man, shout out to bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I met him on TikTok Live, bro. I've never met him in my life, none of that. You feel me? So, like we was talking for like 4 hours, man. And, we were just relating on a lot of stuff, you know. And he was showing me music, he great music, you know. And like I said, we relate on a lot of stuff. Like the situations may have been like somewhat different or whatever, in some cases, but we related on a lot, you know. It was our first time. Well, actually, we spoke like a little bit on the live, but he was in the Discord, man, and he hopped in the studio. He actually let me know the studio wasn't working. He like, yeah, but the voice channel's off. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and I went up in there, fixed it, and it was good. And then I noticed he hopped in there. You feel me? Like, all right, cool. You feel me? I hopped up in there,
Hope
started talking
everyone
like, hey, what's
enjoys it
going on?
here.
And
Please follow the stream.
yep. But like I said, we had a great convo, bro. We related on a lot. Even that conversation was a big fresh air for me, because I'll be real, bro. You talk to some people, bro, their energy can weigh in, bro, especially when you figure out people were talking behind your back, you know, especially when you figure out people that love dearly. I won't say I hate them, but people that you love dearly, you trusted them to be around you. They tried to weaponize it and talk behind your back. Like I just don't like stuff like that. Like I'm grown, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm paying rent. So it's like, like I said, I'm grown, bro. So it's like, um, you have to move different. Some of y'all might be transitioning to being grown. Some of y'all might have been grown for a while. Some of y'all might be getting ready to be grown. But even look, I'll tell you what, because if you're younger, right, moving into being an adult, I do want to tell you this, and watch anybody though. This is any age. It's not just that, right? But I feel like younger though, if you watch this stuff, that will definitely set you up. But like I said, watch the people around you, watch the energy around you. If people are lying to you for no reason or very little reasons, if people are stealing from you, if they're taking stuff from you without asking, right? Or maybe it's something that you like, oh, you can take this anytime or come over anytime or grab what you want or whatever. That's why whenever I have guests and stuff like that, I will never tell you grab whatever you want. Because I've had, and there's a reason, like before that, I probably was a little bit, right? But there's a reason I do not do that. I've had people come over, like staying with me, get up and just grab something. I don't feel like that needs explaining how crazy that is. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that, I feel like shows a very clear sign of disrespect. You know, and if people don't respect you, Chad, do not keep them around you. Very simple as that, right? Especially if you're someone that is productive with your time, if you're actively working towards something, you have to, for your, mental and just respect, say, bro. Because if somebody can do you wrong, bro, they'll do it again. I've heard so many people getting active, getting active. If I once, again, heard it, they will tell you. Chad, a lot of people will tell you in your face their intention, right? But they probably don't think you're smart enough to catch it or whatever. Maybe that's just how I look. But I'm not gonna do too much, bro. I've been on this video for a minute, man. But all in all, if you're struggling with confidence and stuff like that, understand when you're having interactions and your brain is going off, right? And you just, emotions or whatever, keep in mind, they don't know what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Like they don't like. Cause I'll be honest, there. Like socially, I felt awkward at times. I felt weird at times. A lot of times. And that's just like I said, reactions. A lot of these things that we do and we're not realizing, but other people say a lot of it is learned. It's learned, and we taught ourselves where our mind went and where it stayed and where it keep going. The more we have these reactions, you know what I'm saying, and the programming of social media. You know what I mean? Like I love social media, man. I really do. I've loved it since I was young. Like I said, I hit 10K in 3 months on Slim City. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we had 21,000 now. That's after we got shadow banned, Chad. The most we had on that page was like 50,000. I've looked on my discovery on that page before and saw 100 million. I've looked on my phone before during that time and saw like what 360 some thousand likes. That's probably the most that I've saw on my page. Right, the last time I looked at it, the most likes I had on there 300 like 60 some thousand. Right, like I said, I was a sophomore when this was happening. Maybe moving into my junior, I've been posting over the years, but the biggest push on there was my sophomore year. And that's when social media was a lot more simple as well. But like I said, even like I said, that time to now, I still been on social media. It's taught me a lot. Back then when I was on that page, I didn't have the confidence to put my face on there. I did not have the confidence. But I understood it. Because like I said, you're not gonna see 100 million, impressions on your phone. You're not gonna see 300 some thousand likes. You're not gonna have posts with millions, tens of millions of views. Like multiple, like you can't even probably count on both hands together. Like you know what I'm saying? That does not happen by accident. You know what I mean? Like you have to recognize what you know what I'm saying. But and I'm only saying that shit because I've had some people I tell about that, right? And then they'll be like, yeah, but that was memes or like, oh yeah, you did that a while ago or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I hear you, but I'll be real. Like when people be like, "Oh, but that was, but this, but this, but this," that looks like demeaning. 'Cause what do you mean, but this? It still happened, and it wasn't regular. You know what I'm saying? Someone could say, but you had this or this happened, but were you doing that at that age? You know what I'm saying? Were you, what did you do that was equivalent to this before you try to put this down? We're talking about time periods. You know what I mean? But that's all I gotta say, bro. Because a lot of people they will try to put your achievements down and stuff like that, and a lot of the time that is rooted in insecurity. You know what I mean? I'm not as insecure. Now it used to be, and because of me being insecure, that made me react a lot of different ways with people. You know, and you know, I'm done with that. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing, you know, um, my future. You know, I've had multiple periods in my life, chick, where I had friends, maybe a group of friends, brothers, sisters, people I miss me, who I thought loved me, but a situation happened, kick sides, and guess who they never chose? Guess who they never chose? Why is that? All y'all was using it. You feel me? That's why I'm gonna be real. A lot of the time that helps me get over people is the fact I know what you're using me for, and I can see it. You know, and like I said, that will be told through the interaction. If you can see someone is using you, right, you're not tripping. Trust your guts, because it keeps happening for a reason. You keep noticing and having that feeling for a reason. If it's just like one time or it's like, I don't know, like that's different. Sometimes things do come out a certain way, but when you're talking to people that know how to communicate, people that are not stupid, you know, people will tell you they might. Let me stop. I'm giving a lot of game on here, bro. I'm giving a lot, an absorbent amount of game here. Okay, from apparently Drewski queso. I had someone say I look like Q50 on there. Talking about some Q. That ain't no diss to Q50 though at all. Like I said, I make Chicago drill beats. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in that sound, bro. I've made beats with Q50 in the title, so I know who he is. I don't take Q50. He. I ain't gonna say all that, bro. I ain't gonna say, it, but hey, like I said though, shout out everybody in Chicago though, man. It's definitely a whole lot going on. But shout out to everybody, representing for their people, bro. Straight up representing where they come from and they people, and But I won't say too much, bro. I probably did say a whole lot, but I think I'm gonna end this video here. That's kind of where I'm feeling. If you've been watching the video this long, I appreciate you. I would appreciate if you could leave a like, comment, subscribe, but little stuff like that. But shout out, man. Shout out to everybody watching. You feel me? Shout out to everybody that's been on TikTok live. Shout out to everybody in the Discord. Shout out, everybody I've been working with. Bro, shout out to everybody, and most importantly, the people who really resonate with this, the people who really feel, like their confidence slip and maybe feel like they're losing themselves a little bit. Like I said, this video is for you. If y'all like this, I will make more videos like this. No issue, no problem. But yeah, man. Shout out again to everybody, and make sure y'all join the STTerrell clan. Make sure y'all join the ST clan. You feel me? It's the same clan, it's just different names. Okay, we go by multiple names around here, but yeah, like I said, if you're looking for people, similar to yourself, if you're looking for creative people, join the community, man. Straight up. One thing I've learned for sure, I know I'm not alone saying this for a fact. I know for a fact um, creative people, especially people who really hop in their bag and really do the research to learn and understand this stuff very quickly, you can get to a point to where you feel alone, right? And a lot of the time, we're kind of limited to the areas we're in, you know. Because, like I said, even speaking with Brody, he let me. Like I said, I've never met him in my life, nothing, you know. But it's so crazy to have a conversation where you're relating so like I said, this really was like our first time talking. Like, last time we was in live, that we had an audience the first time we spoke. But, this other time it's just me and him in the Discord, you know? And like I said, bro, we related on a lot. Um, for real. And like I said, it's so crazy. Like I said, I've never met him. He came alive, started talking, more and more. And he was talking in DMs and then, hopped in the voice chat and we started talking. But like I said, when I first talked on there, I'm like, you know what? Let me see what's going on, woo woo. And then it just ended up being like check, conversation like that do not happen for no reason, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I really do feel like if conversation can flow that long, especially your first time meeting someone like that, then I feel like that's very telling. Let me not say very telling, but I feel like that opened my eyes a lot too. You know, so if you feel like that, like I said, join the SD clan, join the Discord. We're gonna be hopping on stream more. We're gonna do a lot more music stuff, man. I'm not gonna put all my plans out there yet. But we definitely have more things in store. If you're an artist, if you're someone that makes beats, make sure you send me a DM. Make sure you join the Discord. We're working on another song wars, and I think we might even do beat wars like a little more often because most of the time when I hop on live, I'm making a beat. Sometimes I'll make a song too, but you got to make the beat first. That's the environment. I be seeing all them social media posts where like, oh, forget the producers and stuff like that. Forget you, forget y'all, forget y'all, straight up. What you mean forget the producers? They making it. You think this is free? 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 You can't even see the speaker. Hold on, hold on. I ain't even gonna start pulling all this. But boy, you think it's free? No, it ain't free. People just be like, oh, let me tell you the beat real quick. Gang, if you understood the beat that you probably just ripped and installed, if you understood the journey they had to take and like what they had to learn and like get past like multiple things, a lot of stuff, to even make you even get that feeling to where you like, let me just take, bro. I ain't gonna do it, but if you're a producer, engineer, or whatever, you probably felt me like crazy right now. You probably felt me like crazy, you know, because it's like, bro, the way I feel, especially like, 'cause I wouldn't say I'm like I am. I do produce and I spend a lot of time doing it. But like I said, I started rapping, so that's where my roots is with it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, I'm not gonna do too much, bro. I said I was gonna end the video like 3 times, bro. But hey man, it's your boy STTerrell. Hey, make sure you join the ST clan. Make sure y'all leave a like, comment, subscribe. You feel me? Join the Discord, bro. I'm not, gonna be shy about it. Join it. Feel me? You probably gonna find a lot of people like you in there. You feel me? But excuse me, I hopped out the shower a little bit ago. I'm laying down the hair.